Hi guys, my name is David and today I am going to be finally telling you all the books that I have bought on my Kindle. Unfortunately, I missed out doing my videos for May and June. No idea why. Maybe I was too busy with my reading, but I am doing it now. Instead of me telling you what I bought last month only, I am going to also be including in it, as I said, what I bought for my Kindle in May of 2021 and in June of 2021. I've made out a whole list of all the books that I have bought for them months, and these are all going to be in order. So as always, the first one is the first book that I bought for that respective month, and the last one is the last book that I bought for that month as well. And as always, if I was inspired to get any of these by a specific booktuber or channel, I will link them down below. And these aren't going to be any reviews. I'm not going to talk about any of these because for the most part I haven't read any of these. I think I've only read about maybe one or two of these, but I haven't read any of these, so I can't go in depth. But I will show you the book up here and I will talk about it as best as I can. So let's start off with May. The first book that I bought in that month was a Terry Pratchett book, of course, and that is The Science of Discworld, The Globe, which is the second book. I believe that there are 4 books in the Science of Discworld, and this was actually written by Terry Pratchett, Ian Stewart, and Jack Cohen. And this isn't a fiction book. This is a non-fiction book, kind of like a textbook, as far as I'm aware, detailing the background and history of the Discworld. And sticking with Terry Pratchett, I also bought 2 more Discworld novels from him, and they were called Small Gods and A Hat Full of Sky. As I said, these are both Discworld novels. I've heard of Small Gods before, but not A Hatful of Sky. But I'm on a mission to get everything that Terry Pratchett has ever written on my Kindle and eventually read it all as well. Another one I bought was Oathbringer by Brandon Sanderson. This is book 3, I believe, in his Stormlight Archive novels. I'm currently reading book 1, which is called The Way of Kings, right now for this month, and I'm doing this as a buddy read. I'm slowly going through it, but it's going to take me a while. And the next bunch of books are by the same author, and they are from Joe Abercrombie, as I've become a kind of a fan of his work while reading the First Law Trilogy by him. And the books I bought by him were called Half a King, which is the first book in his Shattered Sea trilogy. I also bought a collection from him which is called The Great Leveler, and I think there may be side stories from the First Law trilogy, and they are called Best Served Cold, the Heroes, and Red Country, all by Joe Abercrombie. I could have bought all these individually, and you can buy them in physical books and ebooks all separately as well. So I bought them all in one collection because they were cheaper. And the last thing that I bought by Joe was the Trouble with Peace, which is book 2 in his Age of Madness trilogy. I know he's going to be releasing book 3 out really soon. I'm not sure whether I will be reading the Age of Madness after the First Law, or whether I will be reading the Shattered Sea trilogy. I'm still up for debate for that one. But I'm so excited to read more of Joe Abercrombie's work. Next I bought was Kill River, and I was told about this by a channel called Dark Between Pages, as Nikki on that channel was doing a video on it, and it sounded really cool. About a serial killer in a water park, I believe, or a theme park of some sort. And there are 3 books in this series right now, and it sounded really cool and really awesome, and I just had to get it. And plus the cover looked really, really cool as well. And next I got, which was another recommendation by Dark Between Pages, and that was called Miracle Sin by Hawke. She did a whole video interview with Marcus, and he was such a out there character. He really was. He kind of reminded me like a cross between Tony Stark and Tim Curry if they had the baby together, and that and Marcus would be that individual. He is really, really out there, creative, and he is really, really funny. So I can't remember too much about this novel. I know it's horror, but I'm excited to read it. And sticking with Nikki as well from Dark Between Pages, I also bought a book that she already talked about called Come Forth in Thaw. Hopefully I've said the title right. This is a short story about a fictional suicide forest that was heavily inspired by the suicide forest over in Japan. And it sounded really interesting. I knew buying it that it had a lot to do with suicide and that it might be a depressing read, but it intrigued me. It really did. And I thought, okay, it's cheap, it's small, I'll give it a shot. And next I bought, which was another Terry Pratchett book, one that I have just finished. So I haven't done a video on this yet, but I'm going to be doing this one soon, and that is Mort, which is book 4 in his Discworld series, which is book 1 in his Death series. I really like this book about a young guy called Mort that becomes Death's assistant or apprentice, and ultimately, without any control or anything, ultimately becomes Death, while Death himself is observing humanity and trying to study human behavior. So I really liked it. Can't wait to do a video on it. Next I bought, which was a book that I am not sure if I was recommended this. I think that Attic Diaries recommended this book to me, but I can't be 100% sure on that. But this one is called The Left Hand of Darkness by Ursula K. Le Guin. I believe she was the author that wrote the Wizard of Earthsea saga rather. And I can't remember too much about this book. I think it might be horror or dark horror. But it sounds really awesome at the time, and I will eventually get round to this one. And lastly, I bought a book by Nicholas Gray. I recently read and reviewed his short story or novella called Field of Fiends, which I will put a picture up here, and the link will be down below in case you want to check out that video. It was a short and sweet horror story, about 30 pages long. I really liked it for what it was, and I couldn't wait to read more from Nicholas. So I bought his short story collection, which is a lot longer and it has loads of short stories in it, and that is called Grey Matter. I can't wait to read this one and to read more from Nicholas and see what else he has to offer. So they are all the books that I bought on my Kindle for May. Next I am going to be telling you all the books I bought for my Kindle in June of 2021. And they are obviously starting with some Terry Pratchett books, why not? And they are some Discworld novels, and they are called Interesting Time and Shepherd's Crown. And I'm not sure what these are about, but I can't resist buying a cheap Terry Pratchett book, especially if it's on offer. And yeah, I will get to these ones whenever I get round to them. And next I bought was a poetry book around horror, and that was called I Am Not Your Final Girl by Claire C.Holland. I was recommended this one by B Reading, and I did actually read this one. From the moment I actually watched B's video to the moment I bought this book and read it on my Kindle. It was about a 2-hour period. It was really short as it's a poetry collection. And it's focusing around all these individual girls that are the last survivors of horror movies. I did a whole video on this. As always, I'll have a picture up here and a link will be down below. It was nothing to write home about. It was nothing incredible, but it was an interesting read and an intriguing experience and a novel or collection or whatever it is. Next I got is The Name of the Winds by Patrick Rothkuss. I actually have a physical copy of this in my room, but because this one was on a daily deal, I thought, well, when I finish reading the physical copy, if I want to give it away, at least I have it on my Kindle. So I know that this one's a high fantasy or an epic fantasy. Don't know too much about it. I know it is an unfinished trilogy right now, but I'm excited to read it. And lastly, I bought a book that I would never have bought if it wasn't for the daily deal. I've heard about this one on BookTube occasionally. I think it might be more of the YA end of fantasy, but that is Law by Alexandra Bracken. I know this one has something to do with Greek gods and them fighting each other and killing each other. I'm not sure. I am not entirely sure even now if this is going to be my thing or not, but it was cheap and I thought I would give it a try. So that's it, guys. That is what I bought on my Kindle for May and June of 2021. Apologies that I didn't do my own separate videos for these months, but I might have been busy. I am going to be doing a separate video for what I bought on my Kindle for July, so please check out that video whenever I release it. And I've also got a whole playlist dedicated to what I bought on my Kindle, so please check out that if you're interested as well. If you have enjoyed this video, please give it a like, comment down below, let me know if you've read any of these. And if you have liked this video as a whole, please consider subscribing to my channel. And if you do, please click on that bell so it reminds you about whenever I upload videos, which are every Monday and Friday. I will also have a link down below to my Goodreads account in case you want to follow me on Goodreads and see what I'm reading. And with all that out of the way, have a great day, read some awesome books, and I will see you all in my next video.